Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Um, Thank you for joining us in this Fireside chat webinar on faculty recruitment at IIT Gandhinagar from different parts of the world. My name is Prasanna, and I've been an assistant professor in the physics discipline at IIT Gandhinagar since 2018. I'm also the current chairperson of the Faculty Search Committee at IIT Gandhinagar. Our aim and hope with this webinar is to reach out to as many excellent faculty candidates as possible and spread the message that IIT Gandhinagar is a great place to work, live, and grow in. So our speaker for the day is Professor Sudhir Jain, who's the director of IIT Gandhinagar. After his PhD at Caltech, he joined IIT Kanpur in 1984 and was a professor of civil engineering there. In 2009, he joined as the founding director of IIT Gandhinagar. He's currently in the third term of his directorship. He will be in conversation with Professor Achal Mehra, who is a visiting professor in humanities and social sciences at IIT Gandhinagar. Achal graduated as a mechanical engineer from IIT Kanpur and completed his PhD in journalism from the Southern Illinois University in Carbondale. He's had a diverse career, both as an academic with faculty positions in the US and Singapore, and as a journalist with editorship of the magazine Little India, which is the largest overseas Indian magazine. Achal has been associated with IIT Gandhinagar since 2012, and we are very glad to have him here as part of our visiting faculty program that engages with eminent academicians, scholars, and professionals worldwide to teach and undertake collaborative research at IIT Gandhinagar. The plan for the webinar is as follows. Professor Jain will begin with a short address, followed by the conversation with Achal. We thank people who have already emailed in questions. We request you to post your questions during the event in the Q&A box, not in the chat. Achal will weave in these questions and other questions into the conversation with Professor Jain. Finally, if for some reason your Zoom disconnects or fails, this webinar is also being broadcast live on the IIT Gandhinagar YouTube channel. I'll post the link for that on the chat that everyone can see. Over to you, Professor Jain.
Thank you, Prasanna. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Delighted to be able to share the exciting opportunities that IIT Gandhinagar offers to potential faculty candidates. As I very fondly say, not many academics get a chance to build a new university. And I was one of the very fortunate ones to had this opportunity. And I looked at it in a way that this is a very extraordinary opportunity, that in terms of extraordinary funding that the government of India provides, and in terms of the reputation that the old IIT system had already built in. And when I came from Kanpur IIT, the thought that I had in mind was that just as the in any family, the father wants the son to do better. When I looked at IIT Gandhinagar from Kanpur, from my viewpoint, I said IIT Gandhinagar should do better than the older IITs, because it can leverage their experiences, it can leverage their resources, it can learn from their successes, it can learn from their mistakes. And that is how we started to build IIT Gandhinagar with great ambitions. And we said to ourselves, what are the things that we can do which older IITs will find hard to do, things that we will find hard to do after we become large. So that is where we started, actually. We said, we are young and we will remain young for a while. Before we become not so young, what are the exciting things that we could possibly do? And one of the key idea was to build culture, to build a good seed of community, passionate people on the faculty, on the staff, create good systems, create enabling mechanisms. So that is how we started. And let me just share my screen and share a few slides to explain to you what I mean by this. So We started with very simple ideas, uh, and one of those ideas was uh, the students first, that we would be an institution that we very, very focused on the students. We would look at ourselves uh, as very student-centric institution. We would build very, very strong faculty, because we believe that faculty is the backbone of any institution. And uh, somebody joins as a faculty, remains here for 30 or 40 years, and we depend on the quality of the faculty for everything that we do. So we have been very, very cautious in recruiting faculty. We have recruited some outstanding faculty. If you look at our website, if you look at the credentials of our faculty, you will see that. We said to ourselves that in bigger institutions, there is a lot of silo mentality of disciplines. And we said, being a new school, can we create very interdisciplinary culture? And I will talk about it a little bit here. We said we will enable our students to build critical thinking, create a lot of liberal arts type of education for the engineering students, and create a very modern curriculum, the best curriculum that one could develop. We said we will have project oriented learning. More recently, we are saying learning by doing, maker space, things like that. And we said we want to be, on one side, very global in our outlook, and therefore we want to be very internationalized in terms of opportunities we provide to our people, as well as opportunities we provide to international people. But on the other hand, we will be very grounded in terms of social engagement, and I'll talk to you about that a little bit as we go along. uh, so just to give a sense to you about our focus on the students, we started in 2011 a 5-week foundation program, where we said that when the new students come, they are burnt out, they are not very uh, you know excited about uh, things other than physics, chemistry, and math. And can we detoxify them? And we developed a 5-week foundation program, where from morning 6:30 to night 9:30, the students are engaged in 5 key ideas. Creativity, that may include uh, playing with mud, sketching, painting, maybe photography, anything. Ethics and values, physical fitness and sports, teamwork, communication, and social engagement. These are the 5 pillars around which we built a 5-week foundation program. Turned out to be hugely successful. Every undergraduate student of IIT Gandhinagar swears by it, and eventually the country took note of it, and now most of the IITs actually do a version of this, maybe 3 weeks. Most of them do 3 weeks now. In fact, AICTE asked engineering colleges to adopt this program in their own format. So we would say that we pioneered this concept, that it is okay to teach a little less, it is okay to miss some weeks of teaching, but let's detoxify the students. Let's show them that life is beyond just grades and studies. We uh, uh, built a very strong partnership with universities around the globe. The result was that 40% of our undergraduates study outside through summer internships, summer research opportunities before they graduate. 30% of our PhD students spend at least semester outside India in a laboratory, in a university before they graduate. 75% of our PhD students would attend at least one conference, maybe more, outside India before they graduate. 90% of our students are outside the state of Gujarat. We represent almost 29 states in the country. 30% of our masters and PhD students are women. So that is the level of commitment we have to globalization and diversity. As I said to you earlier, we are very focused on interdisciplinarity. We believe that a lot of new innovations, new science, new research will happen at the boundaries of the disciplines. And we have really hardwired it into our entire system. For example, we have no separate departmental buildings. There is no building called chemistry or mechanical engineering. We have no laboratories that are meant only for this or that discipline. We have no infrastructure per se, which will be earmarked to individual disciplines. We said we are all going to work together. So you will find at IIT Gandhinagar the professors in chemistry sitting next to professors in humanities, who might be sitting next to professors of mechanical engineering. And again, there will be somebody from humanities, and so on and so forth. We run 2 master's programs. which are highly interdisciplinary, one in cognitive science and one in society and culture, where one could be holding a undergraduate degree in any discipline to get admission there, including we have had medical doctors, we have had engineers, we have had all kinds of degree holders who have competed for admissions to these two programs and done extremely well with us. The result of this interdisciplinarity is that almost 10% of our faculty members carry an appointment in more than one discipline. So somebody is an assistant professor in chemistry and in biological engineering, or somebody is an assistant professor in electrical engineering and mechanical engineering. 14% of our PhD students have their supervisors outside their discipline, which means that somebody is in chemistry and the supervisor is in biology, with no supervisor being from chemistry. We believe that any faculty member can guide any student in the institute and can teach any course in the institute. So if you are a chemical engineer and you want to teach a course in history, we would not stop you from doing that, but we will, of course, hold you accountable for the quality of teaching that you will do. 13% of our PhD of our publications are with multidisciplinary authors, which means one person is from chemistry and another person is from mechanical engineering, and so on and so forth. And same number carries into the projects. We have several interdisciplinary centers, and those details are given on our website. I will not take time to describe that. We have really invested very significant amounts for building research facilities. For example, the microscope facilities, the transmission electron microscope that we have, I'm told, is one of the best in the country in the class. We have a lot of X-ray diffraction facilities. We have mass spectrometer facilities. We have a one of a kind, the only one of its kind facility for fire research. What you see in the left side, this is a 3-story building. You see the people here, so this gives you a sense of the size of the building. And we actually put this building to fire. This building is the same building. This is put to fire. Why? Because we want to test the systems. We want to see how this facade that is there, different type of facade systems, the materials, the fixing arrangements, how will they behave in case of a real fire? We would study how the fire detection systems will behave. We will study how the fire suppression systems will behave. And this is a project research facility that we developed with a very reputed organization, Underwriters Laboratories, and this is a one of its kind facility. And our people are doing really good work in fire engineering. For example, here is a device that our colleagues have built with the sponsorship of private company and partly from the government grants, wherein you use this for fire suppression systems. This is a very modern system that replaces the imported systems and behaves even better, performs even better. We have had very good success with our faculty in terms of research, almost 3.5 papers per faculty. Remember, we have very young faculty. We have people who have joined a year back, people who joined 2 years back, and it takes a little time for people to become productive. So this 3.5 is really accounting for the people who also have joined in last 1 or 2 years, and therefore their papers are not there. We have almost 400 PhD students between 100 faculty members, on an average about 4 PhD students per faculty. We have a very strong external project system, and we also have industry-sponsored projects. If you look at our faculty profile on our website, you will see people who have degrees from some of the best universities in the world. You will see people from Harvard, from MIT, from Cambridge, from Urbana-Champaign, from Cornell, from Georgia Tech. You think about it, and you will see some of the best universities represented at IIT Gandhinagar in terms of the faculty quality that we have. We have almost 85% of our faculty who have experience abroad. What I mean by that is that 60% of our faculty have PhDs outside, and the balance, out of the balance, another 25% people have done significant postdoctoral work outside India. 20% of our faculty are women. 15% of our faculty at any given point of time will be visiting faculty from India and abroad, and 5% of our faculty will be full-time international faculty of not of Indian origin, for example. The social engagement has been a very important component of our mission. We believe that we are being funded very generously by the government through the public funds, and therefore we would like to produce graduates who are sensitive to societal needs, who understand the society, and who will be part of the solutions for the societal problems. Looking at our work, the IIT Council, IIT Council means it is really the apex body of all the IITs. IIT Council is chaired by the Minister of Human Resource Development, and its membership consists of all the directors of all the IITs and chairmen of the board of all the IITs. And in September 2013, the IIT Council passed a resolution that said that exemplary practices of IIT Gandhinagar for labor welfare and community outreach should be introduced in all IITs and should be shared on the IIT Council website. This is the resolution that the council passed, and this is some really amazing work that we have done in terms of community engagement. What you see here on the right side, this is a little event that our people were doing in a neighboring village on the Swachhata Abhiyan, on the solid waste management system, and the idea was to engage the children first before we can engage the parents for this purpose. This is the kind of housing that we require every contractor to build the construction workers, for housing the construction workers. If those of you who have been to India, who are from India, you know how are the typical living conditions of construction workers. And we felt that we will not be good role models for our students if our construction workers are made to live in a very, very pathetic conditions that rest of the project sites typically have. And therefore, we put very strong requirements in all our contracts, and you will see this type of a housing, for example, for all our contract sites, worker sites. And these are the things that people find very fascinating. In fact, when an important visitor comes to the institute, a top bureaucrat or a politician, we are really excited to show them these kind of things, because these are very rare to find in a government project in our country. We have been ranked well on international rankings. We are not looking at ranking as the primary aim. I fondly say that you don't win the cricket match by looking at the scoreboard. You win the cricket match by focusing on the ball and on the field. We wish to be like top globally ranked universities in our culture, in our ethos, in our faculty recruitment, faculty promotions, in curriculum, in infrastructure, in policies, and things like that. We aspire to be globally ranked, and we realize that it may be a while before we can be as high as we wish to be, but we are building up ourselves for that. Why would a potential faculty candidate look at us? What are the advantages we offer? Let me go through a couple of slides on that. We do pay fairly generous salaries. All IITs have standard government mandated systems of faculty compensation. We have been very successful in bringing a lot of philanthropic money, donations, and those donations come to us even though we don't have significant alumni base, and our alumni are very young, they cannot make significant donations. But we have been able to bring very significant amount of donations thanks to the innovations that our donors see in IIT Gandhinagar. They feel that there is something right that IIT Gandhinagar is doing, and they're happy to contribute to that. We give top-up salary to the new faculty. We give them very liberal moving expenses. We give very generous startup funding to start their research. Wherever needed, we give them multidisciplinary appointments. So one could give an appointment in computer science and biological engineering, because this is the kind of work that the candidate does. We are located in a fantastic city. Ahmedabad is a great city, very safe, very good traffic conditions, very good healthcare facilities, very good academic institutions. It's a very, very fine city to live in. We are just 30 minutes from the Ahmedabad airport. We are located in Gandhinagar, which is twin city of Ahmedabad, essentially. We have built a fantastic campus, and I'll show you a few pictures of the campus. And for us, creating a very high quality daycare was a very high priority, because we were recruiting young faculty, we were recruiting young staff, and since we were really very keen to build a strong culture, we were little bit reluctant to bring large numbers of senior people, mid-career people from other institutions, because then it would be difficult to build the culture that we wanted to. So we were really relying on young faculty to build the culture, and therefore daycare was a very important investment for us. We provide very, very strong research support. I believe not many or hardly any institutions in India would be able to match us in terms of research support. For example, we might give a postdoctoral fellowship money for a young faculty to help them start their work. We would give need-based support. We would not tell you that, okay, our norms are telling that we can give you 25 lakhs or 50 lakhs. We will sit with you, discuss with you what your requirements are for research to get started. And if it requires 25 lakhs, we'll give you 25 lakhs. If it requires 1 crore rupees, we will give you 1 crore rupees. If it requires 2 crore rupees, we will do so. We have very streamlined purchase procedures. We don't want our young faculty to be hassled with the procedures. We don't want them to be going through frustrating experiences in administration. And we have very flexible lab spaces. In many cases, I've heard that people go and they're told that, oh, this is the lab space that is available or not available. We work with a very, very flexible lab space system. So somebody joins and we immediately find some space for this person to start his work or her work, and later a proper space may be developed, but we would like to get people started very beginning. We have separate budgets for high value infrastructure. That is how we were able to build some of these very expensive equipment in the institute. And we have no budgetary limitations. If we find something is worthwhile, we will invest on it. So we will not throw the budget constraint on the face of the faculty. We have been very aware that young faculty depend entirely or very strongly on the quality of PhD students that they have. If you can give a new faculty member, a young faculty member, very good quality PhD students, you can really make a difference to their careers, to their research profile. And therefore, we have paid a lot of attention to not only recruit great faculty, but also to recruit great PhD students. And just to give a sense to you, our recruitment rate for PhD students is 1 in 100. If there are 100 applications, one would be successful. That is the level of selectivity that IIT Gandhinagar's PhD program has for several years, not just 1 year. We created very early a program called Start Early PhD program. Our idea was that there are some fantastic PhD candidates who can come from BTech directly. So if you are a topper of a good BS engineering college and you are top ranker in the BTech, top 5 ranks, top 3 ranks, something like that, you could apply to us and we will give you, after your 3rd year, before you go through your placement, we will give you a PhD admission letter. And that admission letter would be even more generous fellowship than the normal fellowship. And we let you decide if you would like to join us. And we have been able to recruit some very, very high quality PhD students through this channel of Start Early PhD program. We also, thanks to our endowment, we are able to give additional fellowships to exceptional bright PhD scholars. So if the government scholarship is 32,000 rupees, there are people here who would get 32,000 rupees from the government funds plus another 10,000 rupees from the endowment in many cases. Once you bring these extraordinary PhD students, how do you make sure that they are successful? And my challenge to the faculty members is that every PhD student that you produce should be prepared for success. And to make sure that that happens, we provide a guaranteed 2 lakh rupees of foreign travel money to every PhD student for participating in international conferences. We also have a program where we provide up to $12,500 for a young PhD student to be able to spend about a semester, 4 to 6 months in a university or a research lab outside India. And almost 30-35% of our PhD students actually avail this kind of an opportunity where they spend at least a semester outside the country. For us, faculty is as I said, is the backbone of the institute. So we don't want to only recruit outstanding faculty, but we also want to develop them for the long-term success. We have now several endowed chairs that have been very generously been made possible by the gifts from our well-wishers. And these have been given to young faculty. Some, unlike other institutions where only senior people get the chairs, in IIT Gandhinagar, a young assistant professor or young associate professor might be holding these chairs. We give postdoc support wherever needed. We are able to give extra travel support through the endowment. So whatever are the government funds for international travel, we believe that our young faculty need to travel more often to be able to interact, to be able to share their work, to be able to learn from others. We have awards for teaching, for research, and in many cases, we even spend a significant amount of money to send our young faculty to spend a semester outside or a couple of months outside. So we've been very, very passionate about building our young faculty. These are a few slides I will show you about the campus. We thought that the campus will be for hundreds of years, and we have a special responsibility to build a great campus. This campus became the first campus in the country to be receiving 5-star Griha rating for its master plan, for being green. We received a number of other design awards from HUDCO and other places. And let me just show you a few pictures. This is Sabarmati River, and we are situated on the banks of Sabarmati. We have about 3 kilometers of the riverfront. What you see here is the academic area, and what you see here is the hostel area. And in another view of this is the academic area, the hostel area, and these are the flats. These are the housing for the faculty and staff. This is the type of buildings, the academic buildings that we have. What you notice here is a skylight, something to bring natural light to the building. You see these large cutouts here on the 3rd floor. And the idea is that this light will come, and through this skylight, through this cutout, it will go all the way to the ground floor. And we would like to minimize the energy consumption through these kind of mechanisms so that the buildings can be stress-free and they can be energy efficient. This is the academic area again. And if you see, for example, the staircase, you will see beautiful geometry of the bottom of the staircase. People don't pay attention to such details. We have been very particular about it. These are, again, academic area. And one of our challenge to the architects was that everything inside the building is important, but every square foot outside the building should be accounted for. We would like these spaces to be used for social activities, for various engagements. And this is what happens in the academic area. This is an event that is happening, maybe this is, I think, 15th August or 26th January type of celebration. And you will see people hanging around. There are sitting spaces that have been created, and they interact and spend time with each other. The entire idea of the campus design was that we would like the community to be able to interact with each other. It should be very, very stress-free, very, very, very intimate kind of a campus. This is an auditorium. Many visitors come and look at these chairs. Some of them have taken pictures because these chairs, a lot of research actually went on in design of just these chairs, because we wanted these to be very, very friendly, very comfortable, a lot of prototyping done, a lot of experiments done on these chairs. This is the hostel area. Again, the hostels were designed to reduce the stress on the students. The hostels are designed to build a community. Hostels are designed so that we are not really creating a modern Western style city, but we are creating an old, intimate Indian town. So what you see here is what we fondly call as a Panchayat Chowk. This is a chalk area. This is where the 500 students, 800 students can actually gather. This is a little elevated platform where you could put a microphone and hold a meeting. I have gone there so many times and held meetings. My deans would go there, hold a meeting with the students. Maybe there is something that we need to share. Maybe there is some stress in the student body and we want to address their questions. What you see here is a little shop, which is eatery, which provides students food up to 4 o'clock in the night. As you go along, what you see here is a dining hall, the mess. That is where the students eat their meals. And this is the street along which they have to walk 4 times a day to enjoy their meals. And as they walk along the street, they meet their other friends, they bump into each other. And they also have little shops like in old Indian towns As you would remember, in our gullies and our lanes, there will be little shops. So there's a tea shop, there's a juice shop, there's a snack shop, and they will just hang around here. This is the hostel kind of design concept. This is our housing, the flats, beautiful flats. Any visitor who comes to our campus, they appreciate the flats very much. And the green design, the vegetation, the way the landscaping has been done, it's just gorgeous. The way the light and the air system has been planned so that during different weathers, different seasons, the flats are very, very comfortable. And again, the open areas in the housing was meant for interactions. Idea was that we are building a community, we are building places, spaces where people will interact. This is a little festival that is happening in the housing area. And this is, for example, during the lockdown, this is the grocery store. A very reputed grocery store in Ahmedabad was, we organized them to come and bring their groceries and sell those groceries for the whole community from morning till evening, twice during the lockdown period. So the idea was that these spaces outside the building, they should be designed for various purposes that the community may need. This is a what we call Jal Mandap. This is a recreational area. What you see here is a underground water tank for rainwater harvesting. But we didn't want to only collect the water. We wanted to make it a very enjoyable place. And if you come in the evening around this area, you will see a lot of children around, running around, mothers sitting, the grandparents sitting, and create a very nice social environment. This is a amphitheater that we have built recently, a research park that is about to be constructed. This is an artist, this is an architect's picture. The building is not yet ready, delayed because of the COVID, but this will be a 200,000 square feet of space for companies to come and set up their R&D facilities. Our idea was that we must co-locate the academia and the industry so that our faculty and students would be able to interact with the industry very closely, work on real life problems, and the industry will be able to leverage our research labs, our research staff, our research faculty, research students, and together both industry and academia will benefit. This is a 2 lakh square foot space. We already, while this was under construction, we already created a not-for-profit company to run this research park in an efficient manner, and we already have 8 or 9 companies that are working inside the campus, and we have given them temporary space in our academic area. So this is how we think. And finally, this is perhaps my last slide. This is our boundary wall. We wanted to convey to anybody through the boundary wall, because see, when you come to our campus, what do you see first? You first see the boundary wall. And we thought that our boundary wall should speak to you and convey to you who we are. And this boundary wall, the way it was designed was to convey that we are very transparent, because if you're driving on the highway, you will be able to see what is happening inside. This boundary wall should be appearing to be inviting. It will be encouraging you to come inside, because we want to be very inclusive. We want people to come inside and talk to us and work with us. So thank you very much. These are some of the slides that I thought I will share with you, and I'll be happy to take up now the specific questions or issues that my colleague, Professor Achal Mehra, might have.
Thank you, Sudhir. Good evening, everyone. I guess we have been looking for the last few minutes at IIT Gandhinagar. So let me turn the tables a bit as we start this question period, and begin by asking you, what are you looking for in the prospective candidates, faculty candidates to the Institute?
See, any good institution is really looking for bright people, right? They are looking for good academics. They are looking for people who are passionate about their subject. In our case, we are very particular that the person that we are looking for as a faculty is not only good in his subject or her subject, but also passionate about teaching, is passionate about students. They care about the students. They look at us as a place where they will grow, where they will raise their family in a healthy environment where they will own the college, where they will own the university, where they will be part of building the institution. As I said, we are a new school, we are building culture, and we are looking for people who are not only outstanding academics in terms of their research, but also who enjoy the students, who enjoy being part of this mission. So that is what we are really looking for: ownership, passion, commitment in teaching and research.
Are you recruiting in particular subject areas?
See, it's very hard to find the kind of people that I just now described, right? And we have not been very successful in finding too many people in that. So we realize that if that be so, we need to be very flexible in terms of discipline. So we would not say, okay, in mechanical engineering, we are looking for fluid mechanics or a solid mechanics person. We will not say we are looking for thermal type person or a manufacturing type person. We will look at every potential faculty candidate based on the criteria that I told you about. And we would ignore that we may have already several people in fluid mechanics, but none in solid mechanics. And this person happens to be yet another fluid mechanics person. Because we feel that we are a growing institution. And even though it may appear that we have many fluid mechanics people, we can add one more if that person is very, very outstanding. So I would say we are very open to disciplines. For example, whether it is engineering, whether it is sciences, in fact, humanities and social sciences. We have somebody with history, somebody with philosophy, somebody with psychology, with all kinds of disciplines that are at IIT Gandhinagar, and we are very open to recruit outstanding people.
Can you walk us through the typical process for faculty recruitment and how long does it take?
I think this is a question I would divert to my colleague Prasanna. Prasanna is a young assistant professor in physics, and even though I might be embarrassing him a little bit, but let me say, because I have almost 580 people on this webinar, I would say that, let me say this, when I came to IIT Gandhinagar, it was hard to recruit good faculty. And what I did was I put one of the young assistant professor, fresh PhD, few months old PhD, and I said, you are the chairman of the faculty search committee. And the idea was that similar person will be finding it easier to recruit outstanding faculty because he himself had such great credentials. And that became a tradition because that was very successful. So what we do is typically one of our most passionate, very highly qualified, very strongly committed young faculty, we make him chairman of the faculty search committee. So Prasanna is one of those who was drafted to be the chairman of the faculty search committee when he was almost 1 year old in the institute. As imagine young assistant professor, 1 year old, and you are the chairman of the faculty search committee for the entire institute. So he's not only recruiting people in physics, but also in humanities and mechanical engineering and electrical engineering and computer science. So Prasanna has been handling this very, very competently, and I will let Prasanna address this particular question. What is the process, Prasanna, for faculty recruitment?
So we get applications all through the year, and we begin by rigorously screening them at the discipline level. And then the first stage of interaction with the faculty candidate involves a video conferencing, such as this, where we have a brief conversation with the candidate covering the broad aspects of their application. So we look at research, academic background, future research, teaching plans. After this interaction, we further deliberate, and once we are satisfied with the candidate, we invite them for an on-campus visit. That typically lasts at least for 2 days. During the visit, the candidate gives a research seminar, a future research proposal, and a teaching session with live students in the audience. In addition, they have one-on-one conversations with faculty members. And then after this, once we find that this candidate, after this visit, we are very happy with the candidate, successful applications, we try and make an offer very quickly in about a month. So that's the general procedure. And on the whole, the process, starting from that when application comes in and when a successful person gets an offer, could go between a month and a few months. But we have tremendous flexibility in our mechanisms so that we can move really fast whenever we find exceptional candidates.
Thanks, Prasanna. Sudhir, how are you managing faculty visits to the campus during the current travel restrictions because of COVID?
So one of the rules in IIT Gandhinagar is that we will never throw a rule book at anybody. We will find a way to get around it. And whenever there has been exceptional candidate, we have been able to interact with them through online tools such as Zoom and whatever. And we have been able to make offers even without a physical visit to the institute. So we are really open. We are really recruiting people. But as I said earlier, we are really looking for very, very exceptional people. We are very selective.
It seems that you have quite a few faculty that have foreign degrees, and some of them probably are not Indian citizens. So, can you explain how complicated is it for non-Indians or OCI holders to live and work in India and at IIT Gandhinagar?
So, Achal, there are two types of people that you're talking about, right? Overseas citizens of India, and you are yourselves one of those overseas citizen of India, right? So, we have been very open to recruit foreigners of foreign origin as well as Indians of overseas citizens of India who hold what is called OCI card. And we have many of those. We have many of those. The OCI, the overseas citizens of India is a very easy system. The government has, fairly liberal arrangements for that. They don't need visas and they can be given appointments without any hassle. The non-Indian citizens who don't have OCI cards, that's a little bit more involved. But we have been able to recruit them successfully. We have several of them working at IIT Gandhinagar and have worked at IIT Gandhinagar. And I would be very, very happy to receive applications both from overseas citizens of India as well as people of foreign origin, those who have no connection with India prior to applying to us.
And do you have a particular time when you are doing recruitment? Is there a recruitment season?
We can't be choosy. We are really looking for those exceptional people and we would hire them when they are available. So I would say we are open to recruit 24/7, 365 days. If you think you are, the right person for IIT Gandhinagar, go ahead and apply. We would really look at you on merit and keep making the decisions throughout the year.
And will you consider fresh PhDs or are you looking for people with some postdoc experience?
We are very open. We have had people who we gave appointment letter before they defended their PhD. We have given people appointment letter when they submitted PhD but not yet defended PhD. So we have had all kinds of people who have not yet defended, people who have just defended, people who have had postdoctoral experience. We would not throw rule book at outstanding person. We would not say, okay, we have an age limit, you are now more than 35, therefore we will not consider you. We will not do that. We will look at every application on merit.
So just a little while ago, when you were sharing your presentation, you pointed out that a majority of your faculty actually has overseas degrees. Is that a preference at IIT Gandhinagar to go with faculty candidates who have overseas degrees?
Actually, we are colorblind. We don't care where you did your PhD from. Some of our most celebrated faculty are actually Indian PhDs. Some of our faculty chairs that we gave to young faculty were given to Indian PhDs. So we really are colorblind where you got your degree from. We are looking for quality of the candidate. And I believe that you are better off with outstanding people, regardless of whether they come from a foreign degree or with Indian degree, whether they come from more reputed college or less reputed college. We are really looking for good people.
I'm going to try to weave some of the questions that are coming in because there are quite a few questions out there. So even as I'm questioning you, I'll throw in some of those questions as they come in. So here's one. I have a PhD in a discipline that is different from my undergraduate degree. How does that affect my chance of being recruited at IIT Gandhinagar?
We celebrate such people. In fact, such people will have difficulty in other institutions in India. They will be told that, okay, your BTech is in electrical, but PhD is in mechanical, and we don't know where to hire you, electrical or mechanical. In IIT Gandhinagar, we will hire you if you are outstanding. So we have several people of that kind. If you have different degrees and BTech and PhD, it doesn't matter to us. We would be very happy to hire you. The only condition we have, as I said earlier, we are looking for people who are passionate about teaching, passionate about research, who believe in ownership, who are not looking at IT as a job, who are looking at IT as a place to grow. So if you come to us with a BTech in electrical engineering and PhD in mechanical engineering, and suppose we hire you in mechanical engineering, we expect you to be able to prepare yourselves to be able to teach mechanical engineering courses at undergraduate level. We don't want you to come back to us and say, hey, wait a minute, my degree is in electrical engineering at BTech level, therefore don't tell me to teach mechanical courses in undergraduate level. Although we will not stop you from teaching undergraduate electrical engineering courses, but we don't want you to say, I can't teach mechanical engineering. No, you are a faculty member of mechanical engineering. You take your time, a year, 2 years, 3 years, and prepare yourselves to be able to teach mechanical engineering courses because you have chosen to be a faculty of mechanical engineering.
So let's look at another question similar to that. I have a PhD in mechanical engineering and my core interest is in control systems. Can I join mechanical engineering as a faculty member and still have PhD students from electrical engineering?
Absolutely. In fact, our rule is that any PhD student, any BTech student, any master's student can go to any faculty member and say, you will be my guide. And if the faculty agrees to it, that is it. We don't look at students as the bonded laborers of a particular department or discipline. We don't want electrical engineering to say, oh, these are our students, how can they work with PhD supervisor in mechanical engineering? We would not subscribe to that kind of philosophy. We think that we are here for the students. Students are our first priority. And if a student in electrical engineering wishes to work with a faculty member in mechanical engineering, we would encourage that. We will support that.
Okay, my PhD is in physics, but I have research overlap with areas in physics and mechanical engineering. Can I apply to both physics and mechanical engineering?
Absolutely. If you look at our application form on the internet, it gives you the opportunity to fill up more than one discipline. And if you fill up the physics and the mechanical engineering, chances are that you will be evaluated both by physics and mechanical engineering. And we would have a discussion with you whether we should place you in physics, whether we should place you in mechanical engineering. And in some cases, we might even place you in physics as the primary discipline and mechanical engineering as the secondary discipline. We are very liberal and very open about it. As I said to you, we have almost 10% faculty members who hold joint appointment where their appointment is in 2 disciplines.
Well, IIT Gandhinagar is a relatively young institution. Why should a faculty member prefer to come to IIT Gandhinagar over more established institutions in India?
I think this is a question that is relatively easy. We are really looking for a certain type of person. We are looking for a person who would enjoy being part of a success story, who would enjoy being part of a place where there is no toxicity, where there is a very strong collegiality, where there is a strong support system, where people are celebrating each other's success. We are looking for people who will not only want to build their research profile and become eminent scholars, but who will also enjoy working with students, who would also have ownership of the college, who will want to look at their work at IIT Gandhinagar 30 years down the line and say, we did it. They will be part of the Gandhinagar success and they will say, it is like a young man, Prasanna, 30 years down the line, he will say, I am the one who hired these 30 people who later got the Nobel Prize or the Bhatnagar Award or whatever it is. We are looking for people who would enjoy being given the responsibility. We give responsibility very, very early. We trust our people. Our slogan is that, even to undergraduates, our slogan is that we will treat you as adults. We will not tell you what to do. We will hold you accountable for your actions, but give you a lot of freedom and flexibility. And if we can do that with the undergraduates, trust me, we will do that with the assistant professors. We will leave them free. We will get out of their way. We will help them grow, but we will hold them accountable. We would not want to hire people who would look at us and say, okay, what do I do next? What do I do next? That kind of person will not be successful at IIT Gandhinagar.
What professional development support do you provide a newly recruited faculty member and also to ongoing faculty?
See, we feel that when you join as a young faculty on day one, we give you the keys to the future of this institute because we trust you with this institute. We give a lot of flexibility and freedom to our faculty. We will therefore invest whatever is reasonable, whatever it takes for your success. I told you earlier, I can show the slide again. For example, what does young faculty want? They want travel money. They want to be able to attend meetings. We will give you extra money, more than what our peer institutions would give. You want research equipment. We would give you more money for research equipment. Of course, it will be need-based. Of course, it is not automatic. Of course, there will be peer review. Of course, there will be due diligence to do that. You will want outstanding PhD students. We will help you do that. Recently, there was a situation where in a particular discipline, we were told that there are 2 faculty members who are not able to get PhD students through the regular process because that particular area of those 2 faculty members is not a popular area with the PhD students. And we said, all right, why don't you do a special campaign for PhD admission in that particular narrow area in that department? So they created a little poster, they created a little publicity material, and they said, we are looking for PhD students in that particular narrow area. And they reached out to the colleges which had decent level of teaching in that narrow area. And they were able to pick up some good students to recruit. So we will go out all the way to be supportive of your success. In many cases, we have given faculty postdoctoral fellowships, money so that they can hire postdoc. We have given, even some cases, we have let the faculty member go and stay in an American university or elsewhere for 6 months or 4 months, just because there was, too much happening here, and we thought that it will benefit them to go away for a few months on some sort of a sabbatical to chill out, to learn new things, do new things, and beef up their research interests. So I would say philosophically, we would be with you all the way to support you, provided you have passion, provided you have commitment, provided we see you making an effort. If that is there, you will not find us wanting.
What is the teaching, research, and service expectation of a new faculty?
See, we generally expect a faculty member, young or old, new or old, to spend about 50% time in research, 30% time in teaching, and 20% time in service. Service means committees, wardenship, deanship, sports in charge, whatever your passions are. And some of it can be external service, reviewing papers, reviewing thesis from other institutions and things like that. So that is the kind of broad spectrum of 3 activities. Out of those, we expect a faculty member to teach about 3 courses per year, which means that one semester will be 2 courses, another semester will be 1 course. We also expect faculty to be able to produce 2 to 3 papers a year. It takes a little time for the new faculty to get started on their work done at IIT Gandhinagar to be published. Quite often they might have a old work in the pipeline that they did as postdoc or as a PhD student, but then we expect that their machine will get primed quickly and they will become productive after joining and start to publish based on the work that they have done at IIT Gandhinagar.
And can I continue collaborating with my postdoctoral mentor after joining IIT Gandhinagar as a faculty member?
We very strongly encourage collaborations inside the country, outside the country. We would facilitate that. We will help in doing this. What we would be concerned, Achal, about is if somebody were to join us and remains an appendage to his postdoctoral supervisor, if somebody were to act as the supervisor's postdoctoral fellow here after joining here. So if somebody were to do some independent work here and also collaborate with the supervisors outside, that's perfectly fine. But if somebody were to do entire work with their postdoctoral supervisor only, there would be a concern. And we would encourage all kinds of collaborations, not just with postdoctoral supervisor or PhD supervisor, but with many, many others. And the emphasis that we have on international visitors, on international travel by our own people, I think the kind of collaborations we see with our faculty developing outside the institute, within India, outside India, has been exceptional. And I expect that will continue in the years ahead.
Do you provide postdoc support to faculty members?
We do. Especially, we are partial to the new faculty, but even people who have been here for a few years, if we find that there is justification, there is a reason, we would provide that. We generally expect our faculty to raise money. We expect them to write proposals, bring money from external agencies. But when somebody comes to us and he says, look, I have money, but I'm running short of money for postdoctoral fellowship, would you give some extra money? And we would do that. In some cases, somebody is doing extremely well and doesn't have postdoctoral money, we would do that. Somebody is very busy doing administrative responsibilities, we would do that. So we are quite open about postdoctoral money, and we have a decent number of postdoctoral fellows in IIT Gandhinagar that are reporting directly to the individual faculty rather than being generic type of a postdoctoral fellow.
Approximately how many new faculties are you trying to recruit? Do you have a breakdown by discipline or areas of expertise?
I would say that our track record has been of the order of 10 faculty recruitments a year, 10 joinees a year. We might make about 20 offers a year, and about 10 of them would join us. That is a very crude number. But we don't mind hiring more. If we find really outstanding people, we would hire more. We do have shortages in some disciplines. We, however, would not compromise the quality of recruitment. And our young faculty are very passionate about this mission. In fact, whatever I have described to you is not something that I am saying. That is something that most of our faculty will say. And they're quite understanding that it is better to have more work with less faculty than to have a colleague who is not in the same league as you are. So, yes, we have some disciplines where we have more shortage than the other disciplines, but so be it. We are in the mission to build a great institution for which we depend on very high quality faculty.
How important is teaching experience in the selection of your candidates? I guess in the case of this questioner, he says that my teaching experience is quite limited. So how do you consider teaching?
I don't expect most people would have teaching experience. Myself, when I joined IIT Kanpur, I had zero teaching experience. In fact, I was very nervous. What will happen when I go to the class? Will I be able to speak in the class? I can understand that young people we are recruiting. We have recruited people who are 26 years old, 27 years old. They've just done BTech, they've done PhD, and they've come and joined us. So we are quite okay with that. What we are not okay with is somebody says teaching is a burden. Somebody says, I want to do research and I'm being forced to do teaching. If you are that type, this is not the place for you. We want people who are basically passionate about students, who like students, who enjoy students, who would work with the students, who gain energy by working with the young people. I feel so excited when I'm in the midst of young faculty or young students. If your DNA is such that you would be rather with the young people, I think you would improve your teaching, even if your teaching may be a bit weak in the beginning. But if you feel teaching is a burden, that will be a problem.
Well, we have almost 100 questions out here, so we are going to be running a little bit over, but I think there are some really interesting questions that still remain, so I guess we'll keep going at this time. Can you talk about the system for probation, confirmation, and promotion at IIT Gandhinagar?
So, we are a little different from our peer institutions. So when we find an outstanding person, we give them a 2-year contract because we want to do it very quickly. We don't do what is standard in Indian academia called selection committee. And during that 2 years, we would do a selection committee and hopefully everything will go well. And then we will put them on a 2-year probation. So typically people take anywhere from, about 2 to 4 years to get confirmed. Rare cases, it has taken more than 4 years, but 2 to 4 years is a time somebody should expect to be confirmed at IIT.
You mentioned in your presentation that roughly about 15% of the faculty at IIT Gandhinagar are visiting faculty. Can you share briefly the options for non-career faculty? Most of our conversation so far has been about career faculty.
See, the way things work is that there is a government mandated system of government pay scale, and that comes with a standard designation: assistant professor, associate professor, professor, and there is a requirement: first class degree, PhD with so many years experience, and so on and so forth. That is what we call as a career faculty. These are the people who meet all the requirements of a standard appointment. But then we find that there are a lot of good people who don't meet those requirements. Somebody may be a very good engineer, may not have PhD. Somebody may be a senior citizen. Somebody may have no degree whatsoever. Somebody may be doing a PhD. We would not deny ourselves an outstanding person if that person is useful to us. So what we do, we create some different channels of recruiting. For example, at IIT Gandhinagar, you might find somebody who is associate teaching professor. So here is a person who is a passionate teacher, may not be into research, may not be into grant writing, may not be into publications, may not be into guiding PhDs, but is a passionate teacher. We would not deny ourselves the benefit of such really high quality teachers. So we will call them assistant teaching professor, associate teaching professor, teaching professor. We might have somebody who is really very research oriented person who doesn't really fit into the teaching mold. Again, we would not deny ourselves from such person. We will call them assistant research professor, associate research professor, research professor. We would have many visiting faculty. We might call them visiting assistant professor or visiting professor. We might even have teaching associates. We have numerous designations that we have, our board has approved, that will meet our needs to use the availability of really passionate, outstanding individuals, even if they don't meet the standard, mold of a regular faculty or what we call as a career faculty in IIT Gandhinagar. So that's how we look at it. So we are very open to recruit people of all kinds of background.
Okay, so let me ask you on, if you're open to this, what is your policy on spousal hires? Can a spouse be selected together at IIT Gandhinagar?
Answer is yes, but both will be considered on merit, and there will be no concession given because one spouse is really good and second is somewhat weak. We would not be able to offer to the weak spouse simply because we are hiring the other person. But if both are strong, we will hire both. And we have several couples working in IIT Gandhinagar.
So what other opportunities are there for spouses of faculty members in the Gandhinagar, Ahmedabad area?
See, Ahmedabad is a great place for spouses' jobs. Let's look at it. We have very good traffic conditions, fantastic roads, no traffic jams. You can go to any part of Ahmedabad in about 40 minutes, 30 minutes, 20 minutes, anywhere from 20 to 40 minutes. We have lots of universities, private universities, institutions, research institutions, industrial research organizations, and so on and so forth. So there are a lot of opportunities for spouses, and the fact that they feel safe. Ahmedabad is a safe place. You can see at the middle of the night, at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the night, you will see young women on scooter or motorcycle or car driving on the road in the city. So Ahmedabad is a very safe place, very decent traffic conditions, very high quality road network. People would be very comfortable finding jobs in Ahmedabad Gandhinagar belt. We are very close to what is developing into a very big financial tech city, GIFT, it is called GIFT, where there will be there is a lot of job potential of people in the finance background, in the technology background, and that GIFT is hardly 5 or 6 kilometers from us on the same road that we are on.
do you provide, sorry, before I get to that, what about children? Are there educational opportunities for children in the neighborhood?
We have very good schools in nearby area, which means a few kilometers. For example, in the Gift City, there's this Jamna Bai school. Many of our faculty and staff send their children there. We have DPS, Delhi Public School System, nearby. We have a number of international schools and other opportunities. I haven't heard anybody complain about the difficulty in finding schooling for their children. And I think we are in a very happy state for families, the jobs for the spouses, for the school children, and for the medical facilities. Ahmedabad is almost at par with Mumbai in terms of quality medical care. In fact, a lot of foreigners come to Ahmedabad for their medical care, whether it is knee replacement or heart surgery. And some of our doctors in Ahmedabad are really very renowned doctors. So Ahmedabad is a very good place to live.
And does the institute provide faculty housing?
Absolutely. We have built few beautiful houses. We have built very nice apartments. People just love those apartments. Their orientation, their design, the light and air system, very nice. People are happy. In fact, when we built these apartments, initially, some of our faculty were living in this city and they didn't want to move. But slowly, I'm seeing more and more people are moving from the city to the campus. And that shows that I think we have done something right with the faculty housing. We will give faculty housing.
Okay, finally, I guess you have touched on some of these subjects in your earlier answer in terms of the city. But can you speak to some of the salient features of the community and the campus life at IIT Gandhinagar and in Gandhinagar, Ahmedabad more generally for faculty and their families?
See, we think that the young people that are coming to IIT Gandhinagar as faculty or as a staff, they will be very productive only if they're comfortable with their family conditions, living conditions. And to us, that is very important. To us, providing a comfort to the family is very important. So I mentioned to you about daycare. We created a daycare even in our temporary campus before we moved into this campus. And in the temporary campus, we were not having our own campus. We didn't have our housing. And we created a daycare right in the academic area, right next to the library. We created a daycare. We said, let the young staff, young faculty bring their kid, drop them in the daycare, in the academic building, and move on, do their work, come back in between, see the kid or feed the kid, go back to work, and things like that. So that is important. Similarly, when a couple of faculty spouses volunteered to create an organic farm in the campus, we give them land, we give them certain facilitation, and they grow vegetables. They grow fantastic range of vegetables in the campus. Very passionately manage the organic farm in the campus. So the way we look at it is, we are looking for people who will own the college, who will own the campus, who will say, we want to do this, and they will volunteer to do this. We are about to commission a very modern sports complex. It will have a swimming pool, it will have climbing walls, squash courts, indoor badminton, indoor volleyball, jogging track, cricket field, whatever, the standard works that you can imagine. A very modern sports complex. Because of pandemic, it got delayed. Otherwise, it would have been commissioned by now. So we have tried to build a very good community life in the campus. And outside the campus, there are very good opportunities. As I said to you earlier, Ahmedabad, Gandhinagar is a fantastic city to live in. Whatever amenities are, one can aspire, you will find those not too far from where we are. We are just 30 minutes from the airport. We are about 20 minutes from the 15 to 20 minutes from the Ahmedabad. The busy areas of Ahmedabad start from 20 minutes onwards. The Ahmedabad railway station might be about 40 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes. Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess there are a lot of questions, but I think we have to try to bring this to a close. But before I did that, I did want to, ask you about this very disturbing photo that we have of you, which has been circulating around. So if we can get that up. So I don't know what did you do to people to drive them to dump you in this way?
So this is a photograph of Holi many years back. And, I come from UP, I come from northern India, where Holi can be a little bit rough and it can be a little bit fun. And I'm quite comfortable with this kind of Holi. And one can understand, many of our students come from North India who are used to a little rough Holi. So they were playing in mud, and they were dragging other kids into the mud, and they decided that they needed to have fun with their director, and they pulled me into the mud, and I had fun. I enjoyed. I absolutely love these students. I really get energy out of my undergraduates, and when they pulled me into the mud, I just had fun playing Holi with them. So this is that picture.
Okay, thanks. On that muddy note, then Prasanna, let me turn it over to you.
Yes. Thank you, Prof Jain and Achal. And thank you to all of you for coming out in such large numbers and supporting the webinar and asking such interesting questions. We hope that we've already addressed many of these questions. And if you have any further questions, please go to our website, and also feel free to write to us at faculty.recruitment@iitgn.ac.in. And so you've had this time and you've heard directly from our director. And we thought before ending the session, you should also hear from our faculty directly. So we just want to show a short video as the last thing for this webinar.
What keeps me excited about the research at this campus is the interdisciplinary nature of the laboratories and disciplines here. The biggest thing here is that all the labs and the facilities are open to all the faculties and students.
I work in an interdisciplinary area, which is the interaction between chemistry and biology. And I always wanted to work in an open lab concept, which is important for my kind of research.
I was born in the Philippines and came to Guam, a US territory, when I was 5, and there I was raised and spent most of my formative years in the US. I then came to India in April 2019 in biological engineering.
I joined IIT Gandhinagar back in January 2019, and it has been a wonderful journey so far. Accessibility to one of the best laboratories in the nation, great green campus, and independence in designing our own teaching and research goals has been just fantastic.
I came here because I became aware of the exponential growth in academic research in biomedical engineering in India.
What struck me about this place was the work culture.
I am a faculty in biological engineering, but I have active collaborations with the colleagues from chemical engineering, chemistry, physics, computer science, mechanical engineering, and the spirit of doing great science with topmost enthusiasm with all the colleagues from different disciplines keep the excitement for doing the research here at IIT Gandhinagar.
What I find here is a very close community, and which helped me actually to interact with the people. Which is very much important for my kind of work. And another thing is that very much inclusiveness of this whole community, which also enthusiasts me more into doing more, if it is called a community work, or doing my interdisciplinary research.
The fact that the leadership here believes in empowering some of its youngest stakeholders with a particular emphasis on students is absolutely amazing. I've spent almost 5 years here at IIT Gandhinagar, and they have been some of the most enriching of my life. Really thrilled to be a part of this institution.
So the work culture at this institute, I would say, is very diverse, positive, and extremely inclusive. We are all working here among equals, irrespective of our rank, age, seniority, or gender.
Every faculty whom I have interacted here has the fire in their belly, the thing or the urge to do great research in collaboration with the colleagues from interdisciplinary manner.
IIT Gandhinagar is a growing institute, and we all have a distinct role to play and a distinct voice in this growth.
I enjoyed IIT Gandhinagar because of its sense of community, not only for academic reasons, but as well as for family reasons. I enjoy the vibrant Indian culture, learning about its people and its food. And so these aspects really make my experience here at IIT Gandhinagar complete.
Overall, my experience here has been extremely enriching, and I would recommend young minds and young researchers to also be a part of this journey.
So, being an early career researcher at a young institution is a very special experience because of the vast opportunities that we have of being involved with the story of the institute, ranging from culture building all the way to campus development, from the abstract to the concrete. It's fantastic.